The Red Dirt D&D podcast is brought to you by Pro Laser Cuts. The Oklahoma company provides pre-made and customizable design laser-cut dice towers, tokens, and more developed by a gamer for gamers and now available to enhance your tabletop game. Pro Laser Cuts products can be found at many Oklahoma City area game stores, local events, and now available online at prolasercuts.com. That's laser and cuts with a Z, Pro Laser Cuts.
Greetings unto you, weary traveler. Come and sit down next to Yazgash's fire. Let me get you something to eat. And while you are here, I will tell you the tales of my friends Poppy, Gideon, Macron, and Xonimus. Their travels throughout the Kalban frontier are legendary, and I hope you enjoy them. You know, a strange person came through not long ago. They said that they were recording these tales for a podcast, and that it is helpful for people to subscribe, rate, and leave comments on such things. I'm not sure what all that is about, but if you were to do that, it would be very helpful for Red Dirt D&D. Now, settle in and listen as I tell you tales from the Kalban frontier.
Welcome to Red Dirt D&D. I'm Michael Cross, and I play Gideon Block, a paladin of Daga, bringing her justice to the wilds of Ritoya.
I'm Konnor Shenold, and I play Konnor with a K, the kobold sorcerer who's finally out of the bag.
I'm Johnny Payne, and I play Xonimus Dinar, a roguish warlock, controlling his fate with chaos.
I'm Kiri Hester, and I play Poppy Tealeaf, a highborn halfling druid who has forsaken her family for the call of the frontier.
I'm Brooke Bullock, and I play Makrin Stoneshaper, a young dwarf sorcerer wielding his arcane gifts to delve into the mysteries of the wilderness.
And I'm Ash King, your dungeon master. Join us now for Tales from the Kalban Frontier. The howls of a dust storm fill your ears, bearing down on you as you cast your gaze around, looking for shelter. The form of a birdman, an Aarakocra, beckons you into safe harbor, leading you into a fissure in between a few rock formations. You find yourselves at a door. The Aarakocra opens it, beckoning you inside. Entering in, you hear a voice from the back part of the dwelling. Dwarven, as he comes into view, a little bit of an older dwarf, a couple hundred years, looks you all over. Well, look at what the hawk dragged in.
Howdy. Thank you for allowing us shelter in your place. There's a dust storm that was brewing, and we didn't know where we were going to go until your Aarakocra friend guided us here.
The Aarakocra kind of puffs up their chest a little bit, and like their wings kind of flutter, looking very proud of themselves.
My name's Gideon Block. This here's Konnor and Xonimus and Macron and Poppy. We were just out traveling north when we got caught up in the dust storm. And you are?
Oh, well, forgive my manners. Jasper Smithson. And this here's my friend, Kikiek.
Can you spell that for me?
Kikiek.
Oh, I had a Y in there.
Oh, yeah.
I was close, though.
Kikiek.
I was like, Kiki.
Jasper Kikiak, certainly pleasant to meet you. Would it be too much of a trouble if we could bunk here for the night until this storm passes over?
Oh, not at all, not at all. You come on in, make yourselves at home. I say, it's rare we get visitors out this way, but frontier hospitality, boy, frontier hospitality.
I say I was really kind of surprised about this house. You've got a house here.
Oh, yes, isn't it wonderful?
How long have you been out here?
Oh, well, here in this locale, I have been for about 15 years now. I've been out in the frontier about 25. I say, it is a fine place to be,
We don't see many dwarves. Of course, my friend here,
I say, yes, Macron, come here, boy. Let me get a look at you. What's your clan name, boy?
And in No, he doesn't. He stays in common. So Makrin says, I'm from the Stone Shapers, Mr. Smithson.
I used to work with the Stone Shapers ever so often. They provide some of the finest gemstones that I could ever have hoped to work with.
Can I get a read on how old he might be? Like, is he elderly, just middle-aged?
Dwarves, what's their
400 years.
400 years?
400 years.
Okay.
50 is like, like Makrin's 50,
Yeah.
50, and he's like 18.
Little babe.
Looking at him, yeah, he's about 280, not
Okay.
quite 300 years old yet. So he reads as very solidly like middle-aged.
Yeah. Okay,
So.
very cool.
He could be your dad.
So what do you do out here?
Oh, little of this, little of that. I just poking around mostly.
Konnor kind of
Poking around.
His head has been kind of going in between like Gideon talking and then this Jasper guy talking, and he's like, "Are we just gonna pretend we weren't out here looking for this guy?"
Oh, you were looking for me?
Yeah.
Well, what can I do for you?
Yeah, we were looking for you.
Subtlety out there.
I know.
About to say.
You were so much more quiet when you were an NPC.
Go put the kettle on. We got guests. And come on.
We ran into some associates of yours.
Some
what
associates?
Our friend here means. Looks like they ran into some trouble with the law. Was picked up by some bounty hunters outside of the last stop.
I believe they were potential associates. I don't believe that Jasper knew them.
They said they were hired.
No, they said that they thought that they heard that he would give good money for 5 stone.
Right, he didn't actually hire them.
He didn't commission them or nothing.
Oh, okay.
They were just doing it they were freelancing without.
There's a guy out here that'll give us money for this.
Yeah.
There's a guy who paid us to get this.
Exactly.
I interpreted it.
Yeah, we met up with some people who apparently were looking for some firestone for you, and we're going to find you later to get some.
You almost had it. It was so close.
Oh.
They had to go get themselves arrested.
Y'all didn't manage to like sneak it from them.
I thought about it, but we really shouldn't.
I tapped my.
Oh.
I said,
And then,
my friend,
you like Kikiek pokes their little birdie head over and just nods and points at Gideon and points to where the badge would be and just Dagade.
And he's a real stickler for the law.
Yeah.
You just hear Kikiek just sigh out this word. Teratin.
Yeah, we wouldn't mind helping you out to get you some firestone. Of course, I believe we'd have to try to make sure it was on a legitimate and was not going to be used for nefarious purposes. That's all we're making sure.
Well, I would say, firestone. Ever since I left the clans, I cannot get anything that I need. It has been a unfortunate situation.
Well, the thing I understand about firestone is it, like most tools, can be used for good and ill.
Oh, that ain't got nothing to do with it, Gideon.
What are you looking?
Nothing to do with it.
Then what are you looking for it for?
Well, give me a persuasion, Gideon Block.
17.
Well, Mr. Block, I'm running a bit of an experiment. Would you like to see what I'm working on back here in my workshop?
Yeah, would love to check that out. I think all of us would. Makrin seems to seem very excited about it.
Well, come on. He gets up, starts walking towards the back where you saw him come out from, and going through a doorway, he kind of leads you down a hall. And you can tell, this dwelling has basically been built into the side of this rock formation.
Is it Dwarven craftsmanship, more or less? Like signs of Dwarven technique?
It's a weird mix.
Okay.
It's definitely Dwarven because it looks like probably Jasper maybe did some of this himself. But, so dwarves are very clean lines,
Yes.
very straight, very exact. Very Scandinavian. But Jasper, on the other hand, seems to have more Hobbit hole-ish, where it's that rounded, kind of more natural, I'm going to work with the stone as opposed to making the stone do what I want it to do. It's this very much more rough cut, much more natural.
I can see why she thought he was crazy. Why would you round that like that? Should be nice and square.
But yeah, so Jasper leads you into this large room, and it appears to be his workshop, because you see all of these kind of workbenches and tools and things just kind of scattered about. Think that eccentric genius type thing, where the place is just absolutely covered wall to wall with the stuff that he is working on. And in the middle of the room, you see propped up on these 2 workhorses. Xonimus, this is actually something that you recognize.
I was waiting for this.
Oh my.
It's a longboat.
really old?
Looks really old, kind of beat up. It's got these kind of wings like on the side of it where looks like it could glide.
So not a model of a longboat, but like an actual 15-foot longboat or
Bona fide, about 20-foot long. And it seems to be that he has been trying to restore it. So just bring it back to its former glory. But he walks over to him and is like, this is my pride and joy. This is my project. That if I could get this to work, this is gonna revolutionize everything.
Well, you see, the problem is you're trying to use a boat in the desert.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's a boat. What are you trying to do? It's just...
Yeah, like Kikiak has followed you and is like throwing up his hands and just, see? What'd I say?
Cochrane maybe
Bolts go
makes
in
eye
water.
contact with Xonimus.
Bolts! Water!
Yeah, I don't...
Bolts! Water!
And what's wrong with it? Why, if you put this on water, it'll work just fine.
No. It is not. It is not a seafaring vessel. You don't understand. Now come here and look at this.
Okay.
And he hops into it and goes to the very end where you see this control module. And you remember in Thor: The Dark World when they had the
skiffs.
Asgardian skiffs?
Yeah.
And they had that control module at the back?
Exactly.
That's kind of what you're looking at.
Like a rudder, but not.
Mm-hmm.
It's got
I've never
a
seen this
tech
when I was
aspect
ferried
to
up.
it.
Yes, you do.
I'm going to let him keep talking until he's repeating himself with
But yeah.
excitement.
Yeah, he
Or whatever, yeah. Because he seems like he's at a look
So
at
what-
me moment.
What am I looking at here? It's like a rudder, but it's not.
This here is a control module. And I have managed to pour some arcane power into this thing. And, well, let me just show you. Let me show you.
Wait, the sweeping area back here, that kind of resembles wings.
Yes. You see, it's got the fins on the side here, and they help with the lift. And then this thing provides the power, and he channels arcane energy into this control module. And you hear that boom, 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 like an engine starting to warm up, and the skiff starts to very slowly and very shaky, like it rattled the whole room with just the power of this thing. And it does start to levitate just a couple feet before, and Jasper has to let the energy go and let it dissipate because he's channeling too much and he can't hold it. He lets go of the energy and it dissipates, and the thing very slowly shutter, sets back down, and the shuddering slowly stops as the power dissipates. If I can find a power source, I can make this thing fly.
I have a question. Watching this, I would like to roll a check to see if I think that if we all held hands,
Sing Kumbaya.
because we're all spellcasters now, we all have some kind of magic within us. If I feel like it would help, it wouldn't help him in the long term, but it would make a man's day happy. It would prove his theory.
You make this old guy very happy for 2 seconds.
Give me an Arcana check.
Okay.
And I would say anyone who wants to can give me,
Oh, that
give me an
didn't- it
Arcana
didn't
check.
come out.
Especially since all of you have some sort of magical energy.
I
and
did not
magical
roll
power.
great. I only got a 10.
10,
Gideon, give me an Arcana
14.
check better than a 10.
14,
Please.
18.
18,
10.
10.
The newest
Modified.
spellcaster figures it out. It's fine.
Modified 10.
Well, it makes sense to
But
this thing.
but the newest spellcaster has some hands-on experience, or at least some vision-on experience.
So you remember how smoothly this thing flew. You also remember how, for the large ship, the galleon required a focusing crystal to focus that magic. So you get the sense that even if all of you together poured your energy into this, it's just that whole, when you have an engine with a bad valve, no matter what you do until you fix the valves, nothing's going to work. So until this thing has something to focus and store energy, you guys will literally wear yourselves out before you can. You'd have to pour so much magical power. That's the problem with him, is that he has magic as a artificer.
Mm-hmm.
And he has arcane power, but he literally, for just a few moments of getting this thing up and running, even with more of you acting as a battery, it's just going to burn through
Yeah, it's like a battery without an alternator on your car. It'll just, you gotta
We'd just be jump starting it.
Yeah.
We wouldn't actually be putting any more.
But it would
power.
prove his theory.
Well, I think
proved
he's
his theory
proven
by
his theory
shaking.
just by what he's done here. I've never seen anything like this, Jasper. This is
Isn't it amazing?
Hey, Jasper.
Like, I kind of can make the connection a little bit, but this is arcane and you want Firestone. Like, you're going to have to do some big modifications. Those two things are different.
Oh, yes, but Firestone, boy. Firestone's a conduit.
It could be. You mean not burning the Firestone, but like energizing the Firestone?
Exactly. Firestone both gives off and stores.
I am super excited about this concept because it's the merging of Makrin's worlds, right?
Well,
the
and this
Dwarven
is-
Firestone and then the Arcana.
This is the first dwarf you've seen use magic that's not you, isn't it?
Pretty much, exactly.
Outside
so.
of that tournament.
No, they weren't using magic
they were
Makrin
Yeah,
was the
they
only
were
one using
just
magic.
chipping
right.
away.
with chisels
So-
and stuff.
And he's also really, Makrin is also really nervous too, because where does this guy fit in to the Dwarven Society? Why is he out here?
Well, they ain't giving
what
him
kinda-
anything.
Yeah, you can tell that Makrin's been really fairly quiet, but it
Jasper.
bubbles over here at this moment.
Jasper, I got a question for you. You built this?
That was my question too, is where did you find this?
I did not build it. I wish I could make that claim. But no,
Do you?
I found it.
Where did you find it?
So I left the clans. I started wandering out here. I was tired, you see. I was tired of the things that they were asking me to do. And I was always creating things that destroyed. I wanted to make something that would help. So I left and I came out here to the frontier. I'd heard the stories. You see, stories about ancient empires and old things and old magics that exist out there. And that's when I found it. The crash site.
Makrin's eyes get big. I look over at Xonimus.
Of course, the ship itself is far too large for me to do anything about.
A ship.
A ship, boy.
How much of it is still out there?
Enough that I could conceivably copy the design if I had the right skills. But if I can prove with just this, and he, pounds his hands on the side of the longship. This was the most intact piece that I could conceivably drag just by myself. But if I can prove that this can be done, and if I can replicate the technology, this is going to revolutionize everything!
Makrin, not realizing the political machinations that are behind what he says next, is like, you wouldn't need rail lines at all.
You wouldn't, boy! That's the beauty of it. You wouldn't have to lay down track and destroy ancient resources and natural beauty. You could just soar right over it.
But let me ask you something, and I'm sure this has got to have come up to you, Jasper. The dwarves aren't going to be too happy because they have already laid this rail line.
Of course, Gideon. Why do you think that I cannot get anything?
Is that why you're not with the clans anymore?
You're right on the money, boy.
If they knew what you were cooking up in here, you wouldn't be cooking it up anymore.
Oh, I know, girl. I know. Why do you think I'm out here and not back there trying to get some grant funding from one of the colleges? No, I've got to do this on my own.
Okay, settle down.
Well,
Getting too excited over there.
Kiki nods and goes over and picks him up and just.
did he actually have a schematic? Did he actually have a schematic?
He does kind of motion you over
Yeah.
and pulls out, the big plan that he puts down and smooths out, and he's drawn, he has one of the long ship that he flips over, but you do see his notations about what remains versus
Wreckage.
what will have to be filled in.
I'm going to put my hand down on the schematic. I'm going to point at a few things. I'm pointing where what would have been the room with the cord.
Mhm.
Did you find the forge? Yeah.
Yes, I thought. Well, I found remains of something that I thought could be a forge, but that was the strangest thing to me. I was like, why would you have a forge on a giant ship?
Okay.
That was one of the first things that cued me in.
Yeah. Did you see a hammer?
No, I can't say that I saw that.
Did you happen to find any long pieces of iron, maybe like bars? Can I get an assessment of like the jails?
Yeah, I found what looked to be holding cells.
Right. Did you find anything?
I figured it was prison shit.
It's been so long, you probably didn't find anything with a cloth or anything, did you?
Or bones.
I want to pull my hand off and press to digitize the black hand symbol onto his schematic. You didn't see anything with that on it?
I saw remnants of that painted on some things, but no, I think it's been too long for any other artifacts to survive.
How old would you say this has been since this ship crashed?
Well, based upon where I found it and the strata of the rock that it was buried down into, I'd say 5,000 years, maybe longer.
Oh boy. How old has Venturus? How long have the dwarves been to the surface?
A few hundred years.
Well, let's say so. Venturus itself, as the capital city of Ratoya,
Right.
I would say that is probably a good 1,000 years, of just building up. I mean, it's
Right.
London, you know.
Yeah.
You have various different times of boom and bust, boom and bust.
And were they in, I'm going to probably pronounce this wrong, were they in Skimweir, the other continent, before and we came?
Somewhere?
Yes, somewhere.
Somewhere and over there.
I forgot about that.
Basically two different, the dwarves that are in over there are native to over there.
Okay.
It's just that they are from the east, whereas the Callban's to the west.
Gotcha.
I'm
Thank
going to pull Xonimus aside and say, Xonimus, this thing's 5,000 years old. You said you ran into Aldonza.
Yeah.
How old would that creature have been by the time we finally ran into it?
The only reason we beat her is because she was so old.
You beat up an old lady.
We beat up an old lady.
Or look how awesome we are because we beat such an ancient being that is timeless. That's how I look at it. I don't
Kiri,
look at it
don't
like
ruin
we beat up a
this
lady.
for me.
I
I
was going
really-
to beat up someone. So when I saw Aldonza, she didn't seem like she was at the height of power she was when we all met her together. But she was a key figure in the Empire.
Right.
Because the conversations between her and the princess didn't really seem to pay favor to one or the other being in charge.
So she'd been there for a while
So
at
she
that
had
point.
that standing.
I would also say you do remember both the princess and then someone else referred to Aldonza as General Aldonza.
Mm-hmm. You don't
So-
become general overnight.
Yeah. I would also say to you, I remember the writings about the Guardians. I wonder if Aldonza was still just a cog in the machine, or was she one of the... Well, she wouldn't have been a Guardian because the Guardians were good.
Right. The Guardians brought down
The figures that were labeled
Yes.
as key guardians in
Right.
the journal, they are related to Thundercrack in some
Well,
way.
I feel like the reason that we had the Guardians was because of people like Aldonza. And the Empire itself, of course.
Yeah. They rose up to bring down the Empire.
Did
But
they-
that apparently happened 5,000 years ago. Jasper, what do you know about this boat, where it came from, what it might have been doing out there in the wilds?
Well, that's just it. I'm not sure. I mean, obviously, I know it's ancient, and it comes from some culture that is neither orcish nor elven nor knoll. I mean, they don't build things like this. Certainly not dwarven.
Is it wooden construction? The outside frame and hull?
It is actually wooden.
What are the wings made of?
Yeah, these draconic looking wings.
And they're draconic looking.
It seems that way to me.
Oh, I wish I had a message.
The wings have it's like a brass support
Yes.
with some sort of treated sailcloth. That actually probably looks like one of the things that he's replaced.
Ah.
This thing he found, from what he's saying, it seemed to have been relatively intact, but he did have to do some repair work to it to get it to this point.
Yeah, he said he was trying to restore it.
Yeah, it's kind of a cobbled together. Like, you do see there's obvious places where, the wood does not match. Because he's like, well, yeah, you see this wood here. I can't find this species of wood anywhere.
Papa, you recognize any of this? Can you figure anything out about the wood grain or the way it's treated or anything like that?
You want me to do a dender analysis or something like that? I can tell you what year the tree was chopped down. I don't have that kind of a microscope. I mean, I'll roll in nature, but I'm not optimistic.
I would take it nature or an arcana.
Well, I got a 2, so it's wood.
It's wood. That it. It's a tree.
Mokrin.
It's old.
Mokrin got a modified 23. Can he tell how it's preserved or anything, or get a vibe off of it or anything?
So the vibe that you get off of it is that the wood itself is not a native species to over there. Like, nowhere. Or at least the original wood. the original wood that's here. It is not a native species, but it seems to be a magical species. You are getting like a vague kind of aura off it, and a vague kind of like it's either it was magical to begin with or it was enchanted since. But the wood itself, it's a very black cinder ash.
Hey there, Kiri here. Do you ever wonder what goes on behind the mic on recording day? What about behind the scenes in our Discord server? Want to pick Ash's brain about how to be a better DM? Wish you could play with them? Well, have I got the idea for you? Join our Patreon. We have several giving levels to fit every budget. You can have all these things and more, including swag, as well as early access to episodes and merch. Head over to patreon.com/reddirtdmd for more info. And remember, my friends, trust everyone, but always cut the cards yourself.
So seeing the way that looks and getting the vibe that he got from the boat and stuff, Makrin touches his nose and very subtly kind of points in Xonimus's direction. It's like, hey, Xonimus, don't freak out. It's just me, Makrin. But I don't think this would come from anywhere around here. It's almost like it's another continental thing. Intercontinental? I don't know what word I want.
Transcontinental?
Transcontinental?
Can I talk back?
Yes, you can. We have
I
a
almost
minute.
want to talk out loud.
Now you guys can whisper back.
We
and
can
forth
whisper back and forth and just the two of us hear it.
What about a whole other plane of existence?
Demon whistles. You've been thinking maybe your vision quest won't even hear? Or
Oh,
they came?
it was here. It was here. I believe it was here, but where's the Empire come from? Where's the base?
It might explain how Adonza was so old, because I heard stories about time and why am I working differently in different places.
All wibbly wobbly?
Yeah.
Jasper, we'd love to see this ship of yours. When this dust storm blows over, maybe a couple of strong extra hands might be able to help you out with doing some excavating of this.
Oh, I'd be very happy if you would be willing to come out with me and do a little more investigating. This is the find of the millennium.
More than you know.
Well, this is fantastic work. You know, I'm almost kind of upset that one of our party members who might have been a rogue didn't lift some firestone without the paladin knowing about it.
Yes, I know. It's so unfortunate. I wish I could get my hands on a sample, but I tell you, Gideon, the clans, they are so protective of that stuff. It's just, you're gone and you can't get access to the resources that you once lacked.
Jasper, it sounds less like they're being proprietary of the Firestone so much as a little bit concerned about the work that you're doing that could conceivably put them out of business.
No, kid. I say they don't know about this. This is my little secret for right now.
Because if they knew about it, they would definitely kill him.
So
100%.
Yes.
Why did you leave then if it weren't for this?
So I'm an artificer. I make things. I make enchantments. I used to. My clan were the best gunsmiths out of all the Dwarven clans. That was our thing. That was what we did. That was our little niche. And if you want to do something different outside of what your clan wants you to do, well, that's a my problem there, Gideon.
Yeah, I walk over to Macron and I put my hand on his shoulder and I say, yeah, I've got the feeling about what it means to be different in the Dwarven clans.
Oh yes. The clans don't take too kindly if you want to try to do something a little different outside the mold. Now, of course, I was quite good at what I did and what they wanted me to do, which was to, well, about to say, if you gave me that gun there at your side, I could enchant that for you, have it spitting fire.
Ooh, you should take him up on that.
I don't do that anymore.
Although we did need to revisit Ash's ruling on whether I can do flame arrow on bullets.
Yes, no, I do not do that anymore, Mr. Gideon. That is something that, well, didn't quite sit right with me.
Right, and I'm sure
that was
it leaves...
all that I was told to do. And anytime I tried to do something different, something a little out of the ordinary, they said, well, Jasper, that's fine and all, that's nice, but hey, can you enchant, 20 more guns for us?
I'm sure that would leave a bad taste in your mouth to
Oh, yes.
try to do something like that. But again, I think we're all okay with if we could just stay here for the night and maybe head out or stay? I don't know how.
Oh no, that's perfectly fine. I'm not about to toss you out in that dust storm. You'll choke yourself to death.
Yeah, and we can help you out excavating this ship. My curiosity is piqued, as it were.
Good. That's what I like to hear. I say some nice strong backs. We can probably get a few more artifacts.
Strength is our specialty.
You sure you don't need us something to tumble? We're much better in.
No, I got Kikiek for that. He's quite acrobatic.
Mokrin has never felt more connected in a long, long time. Like,
Adorable.
This is a guy. This is someone who looks like him, sounds like him. He's working on different things. Artificing and sorcery are different, but he is just glued to what this guy is saying. When he gets a chance, he's gonna be like, so they just have left you alone the whole time? No one came after you?
Well, they can't find me. Try as they might, I keep them on their toes. Once you leave Mokrin and the way that I left, they don't come after you because you're no longer a profitable asset to the clan.
Thematic.
I dart over at Poppy. It's gonna sound like a real weird question, but
Oh, there are no weird questions, Mokrin. There are only questions with dumb answers.
to get okay. You didn't have to shave or cut your hair or nothing to get loose, did you?
No.
Okay.
That is a weird
I mean,
question.
you could do it if you want to, but no. As I said, I left of my own accord. I was not forced out. Now, the ones that are forced out, of course, they're shaved as a sign of shame, but those like me who just, we kind of sneak out. We get to keep our fine, and he strokes, his beard. Get to keep our fine flowing locks.
Mocker definitely has other questions, but he's gonna wait.
Jasper, I believe you. I'll be honest, I don't know if I believe in you, but I believe you.
Oh, that's fine. No one's believed in me for quite some time.
Well, tomorrow's a new day. We'll see what it brings.
That it is.
I'm looking forward to getting out there with you and seeing what else we can recover.
Oh, I'm practically vibrating with excitement. It's been a minute since I've been out to the side. It's a bit difficult to get to, especially for, just me on my lonesome.
Be much easier if you could just fly, all right?
Oh, I wish. No wings, teratin.
If you could just feel the wind in your hair.
Kikiek, he's got that head bob going of a bird, that's just agreeing with you.
Feel the temperature change as you go a little bit higher and higher. Get more near the clouds. Well, I'm just describing my experience of flight on this ship to them.
You see, wings, flight. No wings, no flight. Simple. So, the Aarakocra is just, gesturing as if, this is the fact of the world. If you don't have wings, you don't fly.
Which one of you does the cooking?
There's a little fire pit kind of where Kikiek has been roasting some wild game that's been caught. Yeah. Oh, it's fine. He also makes a fantastic seed bread.
Oh.
He's a bit of a bird brain, but he's good for it.
I got that.
Konnor can appreciate a good pun.
Yeah.
And then Kikiek just looks over again at Jasper and just shakes his head, just Teratin.
You need some help over at the fire?
Kikiek will motion you over.
All right.
If you want to come help.
Go help, and it's just an excuse to move out of this room and move around and scope and check things out. See if anything. Do my scouting.
Do your due diligence. Make sure everything's on the up and up.
Macker and I want to see if I can make sure the cart's all settled in and tied up. You want to come join me out here?
I was actually going to go outside.
Come with us.
Okay.
Gotta go check on Wildfire.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else want to go?
I'll come.
Are we doing? Having a dad huddle?
We are having a dad huddle.
Xonimus, you want to be?
Myself. Yeah, that looks like a good fire, and I'll join you too.
You got this.
Mokrin really doesn't want to leave the room, but he follows.
I say, Macker, how are you doing with all this?
I gotta be real honest, Gideon. I ain't never met anybody that seems to intrinsically understand me the way, this guy's experience, I could be him when I'm older. He's made it. He's out here, he's living his way. He didn't go back.
Hey, you already chose me as your mentor. You can't be finding someone else.
Well, no, it's a different, like artificing is different than sorceressing, but it's.
I don't think that's the word.
Okay, I'm working on the common still, but anyway, sorcery, that's the word.
We all have a hard time with that word. But Mockerin, he's hiding.
Yeah.
That's not freedom.
Well, that's true. Anybody been thinking, like somebody mentioned, like it would change the frontier, change the world, it upset the balance, would we? Like, because
What?
you made a reference.
Oh,
you made
yeah,
a
you
reference to the
can't-
Dwarven Rail clans.
Like back like a whole lot of episodes ago?
No, like just a moment ago.
Wasn't that you?
Well,
No,
here's
it
it
was
was,
you.
it
Who
was
said
me.
it?
Yeah, I was.
No, but
what
he
I,
doesn't understand the
Jasper
political
may have said
machinations
it.
of what he said.
I said what
So-
it was if you've got the dwarves who have control over the rail lines, and then all of a sudden you have somebody else, especially maybe another dwarf, come along and find some other mode of transportation. The people that have control of the rail lines might upset.
I can tell you right
Wouldn't
now
know.
that if the Black Hands or other tribes had any idea of what was going on out here, Jasper would be dead.
Why would they do that? It'd be progress. Like they could find the next good thing.
Progress is one thing, but money is another.
Right. Remember, the dwarves, as long as there is money involved of the rail lines, once people are allowed to travel for free wherever they want, then it's no longer profitable for the dwarves. Right now, the dwarves have control of transportation. Jasper's invention here totally changes transportation in the Caliban frontier.
Every time you want to go somewhere, you got to give the Black Hand money.
Right.
You got one of these. Every time you want to go somewhere, you just got to figure out where you want to go and go.
But then it'd just be more options for more people.
That would be a good plan, but the people who right now are in power won't like that because it takes away power from them, and they will crack down. We know how you know how powerful.
People in power don't want to share it.
There are
So-
little embers of understanding that are coming to mock.
You know, my father's a bad man, and he was greedy for power, and I was a tool to use that power. Now, when I left home, I took that power away from him. And so what he wanted more than anything was to have that back. He didn't want to share. And so he sent the people out after me. Now, the Dwarven clans do business with my father, knowing that he is a bad man, because he pays well. He pays in gold, and he pays in influence. And the dwarves, and you know this because you grew up there, sometimes the ends justify the means. And sometimes the ends are grisly.
Remind me to never live in a society.
It really is better out here.
Connor,
Tell
you
me.
might be right on with that. I mean, it has its luxuries, and it's a nice thing to have. But
Let me tell you,
sometimes-
indoor plumbing is just so nice. I haven't taken a shower in weeks.
You gotta watch out for the gelatinous cubes, though. You can't let them get too big because then they cause problems.
But the
For the sewers, Xonimus.
civilization has its privileges, which is one of the reasons why I think that this crew that we formed here just truly enjoys being out in the frontier. But for some, the luxuries of civilization are as much a drug as alcohol. And
Because we've talked before, Mockerin, about how the dwarves like to control the rocks, right? And I mean, you notice we walked in here.
That's the way it
Jasper
is.
doesn't try to control the rocks. He doesn't try to control the desert because he understands that the desert is going to be what the desert is. But what they cannot control scares them. And what scares them, they must dispatch in whatever means they need to do.
That zings right to Mockerin. He knows exactly what you mean with that.
And I give you a hand on the shoulder pat.
So what are we gonna do about, I mean, is it in danger, Smithson, then, if we help him? Or do we just help him to find out more about this empire?
Here's the
Or-
thing. Jasper Smithson knows what he's getting into. He ain't dumb.
With or without us.
He's gonna do what he's gonna do. I think the only downside of us helping is that we have to hang out with him a little longer, and he seems a little...
Oh, he's great. What are you talking about?
He just talks a lot.
I think the other fly in the ointment is this dwarf is hiding from the Dwarven clans. And technically, we still work for the Dwarven clans.
Okay, so we
But
use
see,
him.
4 of us are perfectly fine with lying to Jacoby Blackhand's face.
We okay. So here's
Well,
what
3
we
of us for sure. I'm not sure about Margaret.
Well, I don't have to see Jacoby Blackhand.
Okay, so guys, here's the plan, and I kind of motion for you guys.
We all bend down by your little 2
He has a
foot body.
clipboard.
Do you know how far I have to bend over?
That's not my fault. You're so tall.
I go down on my knees and I get closer.
Okay, so we use him to find the wreckage that Xonimus had some weird vision about, and he finds whatever he finds there.
But on the
And
other
then we
hand of
continue
that,
on.
we get the information.
Yeah.
It's not just about helping him. It's about us.
We were
no
already
part of this is negative for us.
We were already trying to find the wreckage anyway. He knows where it's at. We could use him for that information, find out whatever that we need to find there, and then we
go
just
about our business.
Go forward to Fort Water.
Russian
water.
Russian water.
No, I know what you're talking about. And you're right. The only reason I bring it up is because we basically have 2 major secrets that this dwarf would really like to find more information on, or at least might impede his trust of us. One, the fact that we work for Jacoby Blackhand. The second, that one of our party has actually flown in this boat before.
Or at least one that looks awful lot like it.
No.
Well, it was.
It's a moment.
Well, here's a philosophy I live by. Get back
That
in
seems
closer.
like need to know information. And I don't feel like Jasper needs to know.
If they don't ask the questions, you don't have to give them answers.
That explains a lot about you, Mr. Konnor.
This is why I love this kobold.
Xonimus puts his arm around Konnor. He's like,
Tell me
my
you've been in
boy.
this boat. Did you ask me if I've been in this boat?
Hold on. Says the kobold that whilst I was trying to pretend we knew nothing about this guy, just blurts out.
But we were trying to find him, and he said who he was.
And I was trying to play it
And it's
smooth.
funny. Gideon.
It's chaos.
And
I understand. It's
it
chaos.
frustrates the paladin.
I couldn't do it unless it was funny.
Chaos, I love it.
Chaos.
Is that chaos with a K?
Yeah.
That's what
In
I
that
thought.
one,
It's also got the trademark logo at the end of it.
So, for right now, we need to, I guess, finish out what we're doing and bed in for the night or however long we figure this sandstorm's going to last.
Are y'all
All right.
okay with the plan? Y'all
Yeah.
in?
No, it's
Okay.
good.
All right. So the 5 of you head back inside, where Kikiek, the Aarakocra, has prepared tonight's meal, which you will partake of with Jasper. The sandstorm continues to howl outside as you bed down for the night.
Red Dirt D&D, Tales from the Caliban Frontier is Ash King as our Dungeon Master, Brooke Bullock as Macron Stonechaper, Johnny Payne as Xonimus Dinar, Kiri Hester as Poppy Tealeaf, Connor Shenold as Konnor the Kobold, and I'm Michael Cross as Gideon Block. Our theme music was created by the cinemagician P.J. Castillo. Our incidental music comes from Jeffrey McBride. Our sound effects and additional music courtesy of tabletopaudio.com and Monument Studios. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and at reddirtdnd.com. We here at Red Dirt D&D could really use your help in getting the word out about us. If you like what you've heard, make sure and subscribe, rate us, and leave a comment. Also, tell your friends about Red Dirt D&D. You can also support the show at patreon.com/reddirtdnd. We have several giving levels to help us grow up big and strong. Join us next time as we go deeper into the Caliban Frontier.